All right. Well, hello, Naz. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon. And it is such a pleasure to speak with you today and so much fun to have you all here. So we're just going to jump right into it. I'm just going to preface this and say Naz has a little baby. So we're gonna jump right in and take advantage while we can, while the baby's sleeping.
So she's quiet, yeah.
While she's quiet. We may have a little baby interruption. It's all good. So Naz, let's just jump in. Let's hear your story. Like, tell me how you ended up in skincare and, how you ended up on this journey.
Okay, so I'm Naz, as you all know. I'm the founder and formulator of Solo Skin London. I've studied with Formula Botanica, as you guys know. So I actually suffered with sensitive skin and psoriasis. So for me, I found it very difficult to find products that suited my skin. And I would spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds just searching for the right skincare. And the thing is, what I would do is I'd go out, I'd purchase it, I'd use it once and it would not suit my skin. I would feel tingling, the burning sensation, the redness on my skin, and the burning. So that money would often get thrown into the bin because I wasn't able to use those products. I also suffer with psoriasis, as I mentioned. And for me, although having skin problems yourself, it's not just about your physical appearance. It really affected me mentally, because I was so embarrassed of just showing like my arms. My psoriasis were on my arms and my knees, so I wasn't, although I'm Muslim and I cover myself quite a lot anyway, but like I often show my arms, especially if I'm going out on holiday and stuff like that. But I was so paranoid of how my arms looked and how just I was paranoid that people were looking at me, although they weren't looking at me. And I'd do silly things like I would try to cover my psoriasis patches with makeup, just to be normal. But anyway, that it didn't work. And then I just got so frustrated and so emotionally distraught that I couldn't find something that would suit my skin, and I was just in this deep black hole. And then, I started making skincare at home, and I just kind of wanted to make sure that I was doing it right. I didn't want to be this DIY kind of make up my own kind of thing. I wanted to be the expert in my field. And that's where I studied with Formula Botanica. And I am just amazed. I'm just absolutely amazed at how my skin has transformed, for the better. Like before, I was never able to go out the house without makeup, or I'm wearing makeup now, but it's the bare minimum. But I would pile loads and loads and loads of makeup. And now I'm actually able to take photos without filters. I feel so much more confident. And that's all because, I managed to create my own skincare. I knew what I was putting on my skin. I'd research into, the ingredients, what ingredients work well with each other. And yeah, so my skin's transformed. I had 6 patches of psoriasis. Although psoriasis can't be cured, the symptoms have eased massively. And it's not just about, your skin, it's about, you're treated on the inside as well. So that's where I'm at the moment. I've managed to launch my own brand. Had you told me a couple of years ago I would have my own skincare brand, I would have told you, shut the front door. No, get out. I would have been like, stop lying. And if you told me that Naz, you're going to be on camera and you're going to be out there and you're going to be talking to like the world, you could say, I'd be like, no, because I've never been a confident person. I have never, ever been. I've always been that shy, don't talk to me kind of girl. And now I've just feel like I've just come out of my shell. So yeah, I've got my brand, and every single product that's in my line, I use them myself. So it's not something that I'm just using for, or just promoting, oh, look, here's this product. I actually use every single product on my shelf. And it's worked wonders on me. So I show people that, look, I'm using these products as well. It's not just, about everyone else. I show them my results. I take them through the journey with me. And I think that's what people like to see, that I'll talk about a skin frustration and I'll show them, okay, this is the ingredients I'm using. I'm super transparent. I tell them whether I'm having a good day or a bad day. And yeah, that's where I am at the moment. Life is obviously a little bit difficult and different with a 3-month-old baby. So things are a little bit slower, but it gives me purpose. So me having the business whilst I've got a baby, it kind of makes me refocus and gives me my purpose as to why I'm doing this.
So, wow. Okay. I love hearing these first parts, and then I'm like, ooh, so many questions, so many questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start back with psoriasis. So let's talk a little bit about psoriasis, how it presents and how you knew that you had it, because I think that there's basically like 3 things that I think people get confused about: eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, right? Those are 3 issues that a lot of people have. So let's talk a little bit about psoriasis and what that was like for you and the symptoms you experienced. And then we're going to talk about like how you started formulating to help heal that.
Yeah. Okay. So what basically happened? I randomly just came out with a patch of a round circle of red. It was red first, and I was like, oh, I think I've been bitten. So I left it, just didn't see much of it, and it just wouldn't go. And then what would happen is the redness over a couple of days would turn into a thick, scaly patch, and then my skin would shred. And it would be so dry that if I didn't peel it, it would peel itself. That's how it sounds disgusting. It sounds absolutely disgusting.
And uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's so itchy. It was so itchy, and that's when I was just like, oh my God, what is this? And it wouldn't heal. So I automatically went to my GP and was just like, hey, look, I've got this, and I've got it on my knees as well. I don't know what it is. And he was like, oh, it looks like psoriasis. And he just gave me some emollients to use. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll try that. And I tried it, and those emollients, all they did was just kind of it made me feel really greasy. I felt like I was putting a tub of, I don't know, it was horrible. I would feel icky, sticky, and it wasn't nice. But I tried that for about a couple of months and nothing was working. And obviously at that point, I just felt like, okay, it's not working. What should I do? So I went back and he prescribed me some steroids and some other emollients and different types of emollients, and it wasn't working. And then I was just like, oh my God, it's still not going. And then I came out with some more patches. And it was stressing me out because I was just like, oh my God, this is disgusting. What is this? I felt so abnormal. And then I went private healthcare, and I saw a dermatologist. And they kind of looked at my lifestyle, and they did say to me, you're doing way too much. Your body's is going through some stresses, and it's your body's way of telling you you're stressed. So I was like, oh, okay, I don't feel stressed. But it was what it was. And she gave me some foam to put onto my patches, and I put it onto my patches, and I came out with another patch. So I felt like all this medication that I was taking was kind of suppressing it, but it was bringing it up somewhere else. So I felt like I'm not using it. I was like, forget it, I don't want it. I was like, it's making me feel worse mentally, and I just kind of want to cover myself up and didn't want to come out of my room. And that's kind of where I started looking at ingredients. And obviously because I was studying with Formula Botanica already at that point, I kind of was just like, I need to know what I'm putting on my skin. Obviously, it's not just about that. You have to treat the inside as well as outside. And because I knew stress was my trigger, I put some stress management into place as well. So if I knew I was stressing myself out, I'll just take time out. So in terms of ingredients and stuff, I would look at online, or look at case studies that have been done, look at ingredients, and I'll test it out. I'll test it out for about 10 months, and it's a long process. And a lot of the time, loads of people think that skincare is an overnight process, and you should be, you should be this flawless person that looks great within a couple of hours. It's not. It really is not. It really is. It's not even. Loads of people think, okay, the skin turns over every 30 days or so or more. So you should expect, a result after 30 days. But it's not even that. It's actually, okay, you've started the journey. You have to be really patient with yourself and with the skincare that you're using, and be consistent and dedicated to what you're actually doing. And here I am today. So the 6 patches that I did have disappeared, and the symptoms have slowly disappeared. Whether I'm going to get it again, I always worry about that. I really do worry about if I'm going to get it again, and I'm just waiting for it to appear. But I know that I've got the right things in place for that to kind of, to manage it.
So, presumably your skincare line is obviously not only safe for those with psoriasis, however, would also possibly help them heal from the symptoms of it.
Yeah.
Were there particular ingredients then that you felt like, okay, I need to include these because they're very important for this process?
Yeah. So if anyone suffers with psoriasis or eczema, one thing that I didn't include in was essential oils. If you have those kind of problematic skin, you know that essential oils is going to irritate that skin. So I made my line fragrance free, and there's a few products that have fragrance as well, just so that I've got an option for people who actually want to try my products out as well. But for psoriasis, I've added in oat oil and perilla seed oil, which really slows down the skin cell turnover and stuff like that, and it really deeply hydrates the skin as well, because psoriasis and eczema, your skin is literally like sandpaper. It's dry, it's rough.
Yeah.
And it really helps just moisturizing.
Yeah, that's so challenging, right? To have to struggle with skin that is that dry. I mean, I think all of us experience dry skin, but with the dry, like scaliness of the skin with psoriasis and eczema. So,
Yeah.
So then what sort of products did you decide to put into your line? Tell us a little bit about like what you have. Also, wait,
so
I'm gonna ask a question before that. Naz, tell us about your name of your skincare line before you tell us about the products.
Okay, so this was quite a strange one, because I went round and round in circles trying to figure out a name for the business, and it was just everything I just didn't like, or it was a mouthful, and I just didn't know what I wanted. And all I kept thinking is, right, okay, I'm formulating for myself. I'm formulating for myself, and not just for for my own skin. So when people are using my products, they are thinking about their own skin. So hence the word solo, being your own skin. And that's where it fell in place. It just went really, it was just like, oh, that sounds quite nice, and it makes sense. And there you go.
Wow. I love that. It's like being That when they talk about being comfortable in the skin you're in, right? So
Yeah,
think about like
exactly.
your own skin, right? Solo skin. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you can tell me a little bit about the products and how you chose the products and which products you chose to put into your line.
So my brand is slightly different because when I first launched, I had this massive pressure of thinking I needed like at least 10 products on my shelf to be able to sell. And I was just like, actually, hold on, who am I trying to please here? You know, I'm my own boss. I don't need approval of anyone. It's like, this is my brand, this is my job, I'm the boss. I'll do what I want. So I actually launched with only one product, which is our bestseller. It's won an award, and it's helped over 300 people. And I started off with the night face oil, and this night face oil has done absolute wonders. And I started off with the oil because I was really focusing on building a healthy skin barrier, because if you have sensitive skin, it's all about building your barrier up again so that it can protect it from the external factors. And that's what it was. And it was really tough, because I only had one product, and so my whole focus on, creating, Instagram posts, everything was purely on that product, which was great because it was just one product, and that's what I started off with. And then obviously I was testing and trialing other things at the same time, and I've always, every time I've gone out to a supermarket and picked up one of those sheet masks or a clay mask, one of those squeezy ones, if I put it on, I'd get the same reaction. I would get red skin, it would sting, it would burn me. I couldn't use it, it would go into the bin. So I was testing for quite some time a clay mask. And you can probably see my shiny, oily, oily T-zone area. But I obviously have a oily T-zone, so I'm a combination skin. So I needed to have something that would help me with reducing my pore sizes on my nose, because they look like potholes on my nose. And so I created the green clay mask. My husband's here and he's laughing at me. He liked my joke. So that's why I'm finding it even more funny. So I obviously created the green clay mask, and that was launched, I think it was about 5 months in, and that went really well. Loads of people have, said it's amazing. It's super gentle on the skin, and it's self-activating, so there's no harsh preservatives in there, as you would find in, the ready-made mixed ones, because we know clay masks are, they're very, very difficult to preserve. And yeah, so that's what I started off with, and then and that's obviously suitable for oily skin because it's fast absorbing. And then all the dry skin girls were like, hey, what about us dry skin girls? What about us? When are you gonna take out something that's suitable for dry skin? And I was like, oh yeah, crap, sorry, I forgot about you guys. So then obviously, because I have combination skin, I was testing again and came out with the pink clay mask, which is again slow absorbing, it's self-activated, and it's customizable as well. And that one goes down a treat with people who have eczema, who kind of want to gently exfoliate their skin but don't want something too harsh. So that's that one. And then in this year, January, I launched the body polish and the nourishing body oil, and that's body care. Now the body polish I use myself because obviously with psoriasis I had dry skin. Even if it was not on the patches, I didn't really use it on the patches. I used it around my other skin because the flakiness would be everywhere. So I'd use that, and then on top, once I'd come out of the shower, I'd use the body oil. And them two combined together works a real treat. And now, so in between, obviously, I got pregnant, and my pregnancies have never been great, and I suffered with insomnia in the first trimester, and in the last trimester, you never get sleep anyway because you're so big, you just can't move, can't sleep. And it doesn't get any better once the baby's there. So I suffered with really dark eye bags. You could see I was really tired, and I just looked sick. I felt like I looked like a panda. And I started, I just started formulating again for myself. And I just thought, you know what, I'm not even going to say anything to anyone and see how it goes. And I just showed, oh, look, I'm formulating, just experimenting in my free time, didn't say what it was. I took a before photo and I took an after photo, and I was amazed with the results.
Wow.
And I was just like, holy crap, I'm really good. And I was just like, oh my God, everyone's going to love this. Let me try. So then I showed everyone on my platforms, and I sent out email campaigns, and I said, oh, look at this. Are you interested in this? And I had loads of people interested in that product. And for the last 2 months, it's been our bestseller. And it's worked absolute wonders. So that's where I am. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 products on the shelf right now.
Oh, that's so exciting. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So tell us, okay, so let's backtrack a minute. Clay masks. Would you, obviously, I know because I also went to school. However, would you talk a little bit about the problem with clay masks when they are activated, and what kind of preservatives people have to use, and why now people are saying, so I assume yours come in like a powder form, and
Yeah.
then with instructions of how to mix it. So talk a little bit more about clay masks, because I think that there's 2 things that happen. One, like you said, like people get pre-activated masks and they have to have a lot of preservatives. Or you have the other, and they're, people, it's really harsh to just put straight clay on your face sometimes.
Yeah. So what, I've never actually used a self-activated clay mask before until I became a student of Formula Botanica. So I've never I was just amazed that we could actually do this, for starters. So with clays, if you're mixing waters into them, the clays actually attract a lot of bacteria into them, so they're not going to be stable for your skin either. So it's just very difficult to preserve. And a lot of times people don't understand that preservatives are not bad to an extent, but there are some preservatives out there that are actually harsh for your skin, and which is sometimes why we get the tingling feeling and the burning sensation, and it's actually compromising your healthy skin barrier. And I actually, so when I was starting my brand, I was very transparent, and I was very much like, okay, well, I want a clay mask, because that's something I suffer with. I find it so hard to go get a clay mask, and I know anybody who has sensitive skin will probably going to feel the same way. But I was so scared of using a preservative that was not accepted in the green beauty world. And I was just like, but how do I fit that into my brand? And I couldn't. I couldn't, because it just went against my ethos, of the brand's ethos. Although it's to make the consumer safe and making sure that the product is actually safe for use. But I know it's going to compromise later on, maybe not straight away, but maybe later on down the line, it will be quite difficult on their skin. And so so I decided to keep it as a loose powder, and I've got instructions on the label teaching you how to use it. So I would actually use like 1 tablespoon of sorry, that's the baby crying.
Yeah. Such a sweet little cry.
You take her out. Yeah. And the bouncer. Yeah, sorry.
This is the reality of being a mom of a 3-month-old, running a skincare line.
Yeah,
Formulating your own
it's not
products.
easy. I kid you not. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, yeah, I'll get pregnant, I'll have a baby, I'll be on maternity leave, and I can focus on my business. I don't get time to. It's so difficult. So any free time I get, literally, I'm focusing, even at night times. I've tried to get her into a routine, put her to bed, and then I'm focusing on the business.
That's one of the things I found so inspirational about your story, though, and now's the first time we talked, was because, I think people get this idea in their head that everything has to be perfect for them to
No.
jump into something and to sort of, fulfill their calling. And for you, you were like, this is not perfect. However, this is my opportunity. This is what needs to happen. And so I'm just going to make it happen. And so you just launched in
Yeah.
and said, I'm in it now and I will find a
Yep.
way to do
Yep.
it. And that's, I think that's really beautiful, especially for female entrepreneurs, right? That it's a different world for us in the sense of families
Yeah,
and
and
kids.
I think exactly, and I think there's a massive expectation on women that you must have a clean home. You must be able to do X, Y, and Z and look amazing, and and make sure everyone in the family is fed, changed, and happy. Actually, oh my God, it is so difficult, and to get everything perfect is I have no day that's perfect, put it this way. Something always gets left behind. I've never had a day where I've ticked off every single thing off my list. So, if people are watching this and thinking, oh my God, how is she doing it? I don't know how I'm doing it. That's the honest truth. I have no idea. There's days where I'm just like, oh man, what am I doing? There's days where I'm just like, I'm not going to look at my phone, hide in my phone, hide my laptop, and I'm just going to sit in front of the TV and eat pizza all day. So those days happen. So
They
it's
happen to
so
the
real.
best of us, don't they? Of like days where it's
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
yeah, those self-care days, although that is important, I think, too, of like realizing when you're running a business, you have to create balance, especially in this day and age when we have cell phones all the time, right? So your cell phone's constantly being like, you're getting orders, things are coming at you, people are sending messages. And if you're not able to create that space and that time to just be like, no, I got to turn it off. I have to have like just some self-care me time. Again, if that's just like watching Netflix and eating pizza and that's what you need to do at that moment, that's part of taking care of yourself too. And I know that to some people it may not be a popular way of thinking about it, but sometimes, like, as a woman, you have to just be like, I just got to do what I can do in this moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now that we went on that tangent, let's get back a little bit. We were talking about clay masks, and so you brought up a couple of things that I thought were interesting. Is one is like, yes, preservatives. In order to preserve clay, you have to use very harsh preservatives. It's virtually impossible to preserve clay with eco, certified or Cosmos certified preservatives. Partially because the clay will like pull at the preservative, and then like you have this really unbalanced preserved product. So that's one of the reasons why often when you're looking at natural skincare lines or organic skincare lines, you will have like these, masks that come in powders and then you mix them yourself. And that's why we choose to often do it that way. It also allows you to mix it with other things, right? So what sort of things do you suggest that people mix the powder with?
So I myself have tried water, just normal water. Somebody suggested that I should try a toner. So I tried a toner and it works really well. Loads of other people have used like rose water. Someone said vinegar. I don't know if that's good for your skin or not. I don't know. But I always recommend, test patch before you do anything new. And make sure you're not storing it and reusing it. It's a single use that you have to make. So yeah, and I've added a top tip that I tend to get my customers to do when purchasing the clay mask is add a couple of drops of the night face oil. Just an extra boost of hydration and extra glow, and it works really well. I always do that. It just gives that extra added benefits in there as well.
It'll also help if you have any, like if you have a tendency to like you were saying, turn red with the cracking, the oil in the mask will help keep it so that it's not like drying up and cracking. Oh my gosh. I remember being a teenager and putting those masks on your face, like straight clay. My face would like crack and it would be so red for like days. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, I know. The other thing is, I think a lot of people think, you know, when you're doing a clay mask, it must be smothered all over your face.
Right.
I think that's a trend. And I used to do the same thing. And if you have combination skin, it's not what you want to do. You only want to target those areas that have that, you know, that skin concern that that product is actually aiming for. So I try to get, for this combination skin people, customers, I tell them to do a duo masking session. So they'll have the green clay and the pink clay, and they can, you know, do a double masking session rather than, you know, separating it into two different days.
And you can paint it on different areas of your face according to what the different area you feel like needs. I love that idea. That's a lovely.
I was like, go have fun, paint your face.
The colors.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we were talking about the clay mask, and then we went on such a tangent. Now I have another really good question for you. You were telling me about the products, and we were talking about the oil, the body polish. Oh, the under eye cream. All right, let's talk more about that. Like, so what did you put in there to help formulate that? Is that also an oil? Is it a cream? What form did that take?
So it's an oil again. And I wanted something that was going to help brighten and tighten that area, because I had, obviously with the lack of sleep, I was starting to see fine lines under my eyes. And I wanted it to kind of soothe my eyes as well, and smooth it out. So in that oil, I've got rice bran oil, which is probably one of my favorite ingredients. It's also in my night face oil, and I love the history behind the oil.
You have to tell us this.
So like
let me get ready.
Everybody get comfortable.
Story time.
So in the Asian culture, what they would do is, back in the days, they would wash the rice and they would save that water, and the Asian women would bathe themselves in that water, and they would always have like clear, glowing, smooth skin. And that's, for me, I was like, oh my God, especially in the Chinese culture, that's what they were doing. And they, you know what, how they have like amazing skin, they have like glass skin. I was just like, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly, you know, the history behind the oil. I was just like, I love it when an ingredient has something behind it. So rice bran oil is one of the ingredients. The other ingredient is blueberry seed oil, which
one is that? Blueberry?
Yeah. So it's he's just making a bottle. So yeah, as we know, that's quite high in antioxidants, and it helps with anti-aging as well. So that was one of the other things. So the rice bran oil was there to brighten and lighten the areas up, and the blueberry seed oil is used to help with fine lines and the wrinkles. And they also got kiwi seed oil in there, which hydrates the eye as well. A lot of people, a lot of my customers, the ones that suffer with psoriasis, they sometimes get psoriasis under their eyes, which I've never heard of, but that's what they tell me anyway. And they've been using the oil under the eye, and they've said that it's really soothing, because normally they feel itchy. And the other thing is, one of my other customers, they recently, like, hay fever in the UK is crazy. It's an allergy, and loads of people get it, like especially this time of the year, and they've been itching their eyes so much that it's gone so dark, and it's gone so dry, and they've been using my oil, and it's soothed that area up so well. So yeah, it's worked wonders, especially with those key ingredients in there.
So what about when you were formulating your skincare line? You have such beautiful like skin now. It's so gorgeous.
Oh, thank
right?
you.
And it's always considerations that we're taking in, especially when we're talking about like brightening and lightening, because different skincare types really, or skin colors will be more prone to darkening of the skin, scarring, things like that. And so it's interesting to hear you talk about lightening, because that lightening in many cultures, unfortunately, still people do very harsh lightening treatments to their skin.
Yes.
Which
So
is,
when I say lightening, I kind of say, well, it will help in terms of making the area brighter. So you will see the instant brightness, and you will see that glow straight away. I feel like it happens a lot in the Asian culture, where if you are not fair skinned, you're looked down upon for some reason, and it's not nice. So I think a lot of times it's really hard to say lightening, but actually what it is brightening rather than lightening.
and kiwi is so good for that in so many ways, whether you're talking about the kiwi seed oil or you're talking about kiwi water. Any kind of kiwi is going to be so fantastic for that.
Yeah.
I see your husband is like making eyes at you. Do you need to talk to him about the bottle for a second?
Yeah. He's my older daughter has just come up to get her nappies, and
she is a beauty.
She is not happy, but you know, getting some me time here, so he can do.
This is what me time looks like when you're a mom, right? Doing interviews about my skincare line. Now suddenly that's me time.
Yeah, it totally is. No, she's probably because she's breastfed baby. She's quite a fussy baby. So he's probably having a hard time settling her, and I've only just introduced her to balls. So
wow.
Yeah. Oh, there was actually another myth actually.
Yes. Tell us.
So somebody actually said to me, if you apply breast milk onto your psoriasis, it will disappear. I was just gobsmacked. I was like, really? I was like, okay, if I still have psoriasis after I've given birth, I'll try it.
I've heard breast milk is good for many, many things.
It actually is.
Pink eye, right? Pink eye.
Yes.
Breast milk's really good for pink eye.
So when my daughter was born as a newborn, she had sticky eyes. And the midwife was like, just put a couple of drops of breast milk into it, and it will go. Keep doing it every day, and it worked wonders. It was gone. So
it's such a powerful like substance, right? Which again brings us back to like, you know, nature's beauty, right?
Exactly.
Nature is so beautiful, so beautiful, and there is everything there that we could possibly need. Whether it comes from breast milk, actually, that makes me think. I was thinking about something you could mix your mask with. Is one of Debbie's favorite ingredients. Debbie Burns, hers was goat milk, and I would think like goat milk with the mask would be so fabulous. It'd have a little lactic acid in it too, which is gentle and nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That's a good idea. Might try that.
I know, right? It sounds delightful. After I get talking to everybody, I'm like, I want to try all the products. I want to smear them all over me.
Oh, bless you. Yeah.
I would say that most of us probably started off with about 50 products in our bathrooms, our showers, our,
Yes, so obviously with my Instagram and stuff, I have a lot of bloggers that I follow. and I see some of their skincare routines, and I don't know how to say this in without offending anyone, but they have their whole dressing table full of hundreds of products. And I'm like, how is your skin not reacting?
Yeah, I know.
I just find it I find it, number one, amazing, and number two, I just find it crazy how you can have so many. Like I think because my range is so small, when I see somebody else's, I'm like, really? Can you use that much?
I
But
think
they
there's
do.
a I think that that's another thing we all come to is there's a certain simplicity, right? So I've yet to hear
Yeah.
one of us talk and say, I think 20 products is the perfect amount, right? Like there's just, I feel like often when people have 20 products, it's because the product is not working for them. Oh my gosh, I can't remember who said it to me. It could have been Debbie, could have been Zane. And they were saying, you know, if you have a bunch of products in your drawer still or on your shelf, then there's a chance that you don't actually really like that product. Because if you
Yeah.
like that product, that's what you'd be using on your face all the
Mm.
time, all day. You just keep putting it on. If there's
Yeah.
something that, like, first of all, if you've had something in your cupboard for longer than a year, go ahead, throw it out. Like, get rid of it. You shouldn't have products that are like, even products that have been preserved with a lot of preservatives. After a year, you're like, again, you should have used up any product by a year, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I think. And then you know when you have the I can't remember what it's called, but you have the jar where it has the lid open and it says when you open it you have to consume it within 24 months.
Yeah.
Who actually records, you
When
know,
they
when
buy
you
it.
opened it? I was like, I don't recall when I opened this, but I know that the products that are on my shelf, I know that I use them every single day.
Do you base the sizes of your products at all on the usage, how fast you want people to use them? Is that any consideration for you?
Um, yes, so when I do my market research, I look at what's out there and I kind of look at what my competitors are doing, and see what they have similar in that product and see what sizes they're offering. And that's how I kind of play it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of like these, like an 8-ounce cream or something like that. Like, yeah, that should not last you a year.
No.
8 ounces of cream, you're definitely not using enough if it's lasting you a year. If you have like I guess this would be like a 4-ounce bottle of oil, right? A 4-ounce bottle of oil shouldn't be lasting you a year. If it is, you're not using it enough. So I
Yeah.
think that's also, there's a reason why the industry in general creates things in certain sizes, because the idea is that it should be used up in a certain amount of time, not just like sitting on your shelf. For the only thing I would say that is a little different, and you can correct me if you have a different idea about this, is the powdered masks. I feel like when they're powdered like that, you probably, because you're not using it like every day, you probably have a little bit more time with that, because again, the way that it's dried and preserved in its dried form, that way that there's probably a little bit longer shelf life. However, oils, this is the other thing. Oh my gosh, now you got me on a roll here. Rancidity of oils, right? I don't think we've talked about that with anybody, is the fact that oils, even if they have antioxidants, even if they're preserved, eventually your oils will go rancid. Like an oil
If you
cannot sit on
don't, yeah,
itself
yeah. And
forever.
especially if you're not following the storage instructions. And I've actually done a blog post on this. So if anyone's watching, go take a look at my blog post and go have a look. And I actually show, I've actually done a dip test, and shown people what happens if you don't follow instructions, the product instructions or the storage instructions. And you can see I think a lot of people, I remember seeing my views on there. I haven't seen it recently, but when I first uploaded it, my views on that blog post was just incredible because everyone was like, oh my God, yeah. But yeah, if you're not storing products correctly, so for example, my oil, the night face oil, it says keep in a dark, cool place. And I had somebody actually message me. This was when I first launched, maybe a couple of months down the line, and they said to me, the oil smells a bit off. What's, is that normal? And obviously you can't, you have to investigate straight away what's gone on. So the first questions I ask, okay, tell me where you've put it, how you've stored it, how you're using it. And so this is how they were. So they stored it in the bathroom in a humid place. They stored it in front of the way, apparently the way it was positioned, it was right in front of a window. And when the customer was actually applying the product, she was actually putting the pipette onto her skin. So so I was like, okay, now if you can read the label and just understand that if you don't follow these instructions, these will happen. And obviously stability testing is so important. And when you're bringing out new products, it is so key, because you're more prepared for things like this. So you can say, actually, yes, that is going to happen, because if you've stored it wrong, this will happen. So I was so glad, because I was just like, oh my God, now I understand why stability testing is so important, because actually I can say, yes, actually that is expected if you've not stored it in the correct manner. And actually it's not just about storing, it's actually educating your customers at the same time, because when I didn't have my own brand, I never ever read the label. Never read the label. I never paid attention to the storage instructions. I just stuffed it into my, into my bathroom in the drawer, and that's it. It's done. I didn't realize that. Okay, I didn't realize the effects humidity can have on a product either, and how it can actually, be a breeding ground for bacteria and all those fun kind of nasties.
Yeah, and I think especially when you're talking about products that are a little bit more natural, there's two things we want to take into consideration for our products, right? Is one, we're giving you these gorgeous fresh ingredients, right? We're saying, okay, we're not going to preserve these like crazy. These ingredients are coming to you in this fresh way. Well, then don't let it sit on the shelf for 2 years, right? Then the
Yeah.
ingredient's not so fresh anymore.
No. Yeah, exactly.
And then the other thing is we're not over preserving, right? We are preserving just to the amount that or even with the antioxidants, we are just keeping it enough so that it is safe for you. However, like, I know like right now I'm working on shampoos and conditioners, right? And those are challenging because guess where shampoo and conditioner sits? It sits in a shower where it is wet and humid and hot and the temperature changes all the time. So all of these things that we take into consideration, again, storage, like please, if we could have one public service announcement from Naz's interview, it would be, please read the labels and store your products according to how they suggest to store them.
Yes, please. Read
We
your
promise
labels.
your products will be so much better if you just do that.
I know, yeah, totally.
Oh, well, Naz, we are coming up kind of on the hour, pretty close here, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you my last 3 questions. These are the questions I ask everybody. So first, tell us some of your favorite ingredients. I know you touched on some, but I like to recap at the end because if anybody wants to make notes, this is a time for them to pull out their pen and paper. So what are some of your favorite ingredients?
So I really like broccoli seed oil as well. It's probably, it's not just about eating your greens, it's put your greens on your face. It's really high in vitamin A. It's really good for anti-aging. It really deeply hydrates. And it has so many benefits for your skin as well. So that's one. The other one I would say is olive squalane. Squalane. I always I always get myself confused with that. It's so gentle, especially if you have sensitive skin. Oh my God, it's just one of the best ingredients out there. It's so gentle, it's hydrating, it deeply hydrates your skin. It's fast absorbing, it doesn't have an icky, sticky feel, and you're glowing the next day with that oil.
So good on your skin, doesn't it?
I know, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. I hadn't even thought of that one. I love that. Okay. Then ingredients you would never use in your skincare products.
SLS, those nasties. And it's probably one of the reasons why I've got sensitive skin. You know, for those people, you know, who don't know, it's like a surfactant, isn't it? It cleanses the skin. It kind of removes the dirt and the oils away from your skin, but it disrupts the natural oils, and it can damage your skin barrier, and it can cause, you know, reactions such as eczema and dry the skin out completely. So I'm forever, you know, if I'm looking at, if I get asked, is this product good, which most of my family do,
Of course.
I'll look at the back, and if I see SLS on there, I'm like, nope, throw it in the bin, don't use it. You really want to compromise your skin?
Yeah. She's talking about sulfates. So if you're not familiar with SLS, that's what she's referring to, are sulfates.
Yes.
Sodium lauryl and lauryl sulfates, particularly.
You know what? You're better at pronouncing. The inky names are like a foreign language to me. Even though I know what they are, I just can never pronounce them.
Well, that one, obviously, as a hairdresser too, you know, sulfates are not your hair's friend. They definitely will dry out your hair. They're very harsh in the way that they cleanse. And of course, the biggest way we've convinced people not to use them is it compromises your hair color. It will strip your hair color much faster if you have sulfates in your shampoos. And the same is true. You don't want anything that's going to strip, right? You were talking about the skin barrier. So anything that's going to strip your skin barrier or strip your cuticle, which is basically like your hair's barrier, right? That's not something that you want to necessarily be putting on your body. So
did you say, sorry, did you say that you're doing the hair course?
So I actually did the hair course. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I, you know, because I have a salon and spa, then I also do hair care as well. So yeah, it's challenging in its own ways.
I can imagine.
Hair. I feel like sometimes the products that we use for hair are a little bit easier sometimes to formulate because it's really cut and dry, right? With a hair product, you know what you want it to do and you know what you don't want it to do. And those are pretty structured. I feel like with skincare, there's a lot like more options for some reason. However, the shampoo and conditioner are very challenging because they do have water. And once you put water in, then your preservation and stabilization and all those things become more challenging. So, okay, lastly, your skincare tip. What's your skincare tip to share?
Work on your skin barrier regardless of what age you are. Like I've got my 3-month-old baby. I'm lathering her with oils, making sure her skin barrier is okay. I'm like, what's your skincare routine, girl? She don't answer me for some reason.
Just like, because you got it covered, Mom. I don't even have to worry about it. You have other children too, though, right, Naz?
Yeah. I got a 7-year-old and a 6-year-old. My 7-year-old wants to take over my whole brand. My 6-year-old is so productive. She pre-makes all my boxes for me, which is amazing. So they're really hands-on. But yeah, they because obviously I had, before obviously maternity leave, I had a day job as well whilst running the business. And I always said to them, would you be okay with mummy leaving work and concentrating on this, or do you want mummy to stop this and go back to work full time? And they were like, no, leave the other work. We want you to do this, because they absolutely love the whole idea that I'm on Instagram, and they're constantly asking, Mum, you know, how many followers have you got? And I'm like, it's not about the followers. I don't care about the followers. Just it's, yeah, they're 7 going on to, like, you know, 17 teenagers.
But again, how great, because, you know, children also, like, sometimes we forget that children have skin issues too, and
Yeah.
they will have dry skin, and they will get rashes, and they have all of these
Yes.
things that happen to them that we, again, strengthening the skin barrier, even at that age, can help prevent
Oh yeah,
a
definitely.
lot of things in life.
So my daughter, my 6-year-old, with the whole COVID situation, she was constantly washing her hands at school while I was working, because I was classed as a key worker, so she was going into school, but she was so, like, washing her hands, then sanitizing, so it was really drying her hands out, and she developed eczema. And I took her to the doctors, and they gave some emollients again. I don't know why I take her to the doctors, to be fair. I just, you know, they gave me the same thing over and over again, and just, so I was like, oh, I recognize this product. You've given me that. It's not going to work. So then my husband actually was like, what are you playing at? You're a formulator. You formulate for this skin problem. I was like, yeah, I know, but I kind of scared to kind of use it on her. And he was like, why? It's all natural. It's all I was like, actually, let me just try. So actually, I've actually got a video on my Instagram where I show you the transformation from her hands, going from, like, dark scaly patches to a new. It looks, the dark scaly patches have disappeared. Her hand looks so hydrated, and that's it.
Were
Built
you
up her
using the
skin barrier.
same night oil? Was
The
that the
night
night oil?
face oil.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have actually, although it's for the face, I've had so many people actually use it on different parts of their body. So the other, like, for the other part of the body part someone's used it on is when they've shaved their child's head, and they've ended up with, like, irritated follicles. So they added my oil just to kind of help soothe the itchiness, and the redness and the inflamed follicles had actually disappeared within 24 hours. And that's, it's kind of scary when you formulate a product where you know it works for you, but then when it starts working for other people, that's when your confidence start building, because you're like, actually, my product's really good. It's
Yeah.
working. It's helped so many people. In the last year, it's helped over 300 people. And when I first started my brand, I was so scared. And that's the honest truth. I was so scared. I felt like, I don't know if you know about imposter syndrome. I
Oh,
felt like
yeah.
oh my God, I suffered with that so much. And
Mhm.
sometimes I still do. Um, and yeah, so it's, you know, it takes time to kind of build yourself as well as building your products. Your products work, but when it's somebody else says to you, oh my God, it's completely transformed, my itching has stopped, my skin's transformed, that is what I work for. And it
That's
makes
it.
everything worth it.
Transforming lives, right?
Yeah.
Helping people live, you know, healthier lives, happier lives, less pain and irritation because of your products. Like, that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that.
No.
Okay, well, Naz, thank you so much. This was, wow, this hour went by really, really fast.
It really did.
It
We can
really
talk,
did.
girl.
I looked up at the clock. I was like, wow, that was a fast one.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. So fantastic
Thank
to
you.
talk with you. And thank you for being here and sharing all your wisdom with everyone.
That's okay.